Uber plans to cut 3,000 more jobs in less than 2 weeks after laying off 3,700 employees on May 6th, brothers and sisters. They just laid off 3,700 people, and now they're cutting 3,000 more jobs. And the Texas governor reopens more businesses and schools just days after the highest jump in COVID-19 cases in the state since the pandemic began. Now, why is he doing that? It's because of the economy, brothers and sisters. Regardless if it's safe or not to reopen that state, he's trying to save his economy. So what's the worst? To not have any money for your livelihood, to support your family, or to get sick from the pandemic? So the people are having to make a choice. So the governor's made the choice. He's going to take his chance with the people getting sick to save the economy. Now, another thing we need to look at is that over 4 million Americans are skipping their mortgage payments because of job loss and layoffs, brothers and sisters. Job loss and layoffs. So people aren't paying their mortgages. They'll probably try and catch up on the back end when they say things are going to get better, and they'll try and catch up, but are things going to really get any better? This is why we're creating our own jobs, brothers and sisters. Things may not ever get back the way they used to be, and I know a lot of people are waiting for that to happen. But you've got to do something to help yourself, is what I'm saying. And this is why we're having these broadcasts, to let you know that there is another opportunity for you out there. Now look at Georgia's governor. He's reopened the state. And the coronavirus data that he received made the reopening look safe, brothers and sisters. But the numbers were a lie. And it's despite the warnings from the public health experts suggesting that without an aggressive national public health strategy, the country could face its darkest winter. In other words, it's going to get real bad down in that state, because they're trying to rush and open the state up so that they can save the economy. We've got to save our own economy, brothers and sisters, by coming up with other ways than just what we've been used to. There are other ways that we can make money, and we're going to talk about those a little later, but I just want you all to see the condition that the world is in so that you'll know that it's time to get up and do something to help yourself. We have employment opportunities for everybody in this country. We can hire everybody, but they have to get up and do it, and have to understand that they can't depend on what they've always relied on. A lot of that stuff is over with. A lot of these large companies are going out of business to never open up again. And then you've got to look at the grocery store prices, brothers and sisters. They're even increasing during, right in the midst of America's national pandemic. Grocery prices for food are going up, brothers and sisters. All you have to do is go to the grocery store and see the increase in these prices, because things are harder to get than they used to be. And as a result of the pandemic, tens of millions of Americans are living in economic depression, brothers and sisters, not knowing where the next meal or paycheck will come from. But we've got to be smarter than that. We know where our next meal or paycheck is coming from. All we have to do is become employed with this company. It's easier than it seems to be. And if you look at the news and see how bad things are out there, well, it's a lot easier than that, is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Because we have a ram in the bush. We have a fountain in the desert. God has provided a way for us. But we have to take it. We have to stop looking back at Egypt when, things they weren't the way they should be, but we were comfortable. Even with the conditions that we were living in, we were comfortable. We're in uncharted territory now, brothers and sisters. But God is still providing for us, is what I'm saying. And you have to be spiritual enough to see it. Now, you've got 75,000 Americans who are at risk from overdosing, brothers and sisters, and suicide from the growing unemployment crisis. This unemployment is affecting people, but like I said, we can hire everybody in this country. It's just a matter of reaching out to them, letting them know what's available. Maybe the old way of doing things has come to an end, but everything is not lost. There's still employment opportunities out there. And people are getting into drugs. They're overdosing with opioids and, thinking about suicide because of the economic downturn. And they've got a lot of stress going on because of the isolation, having to stay in, and with no definite date for the end of the pandemic. So it's a lot of stress on people out there. But it doesn't have to be, is all I'm saying. All we have to do is work together, brothers and sisters, and we've got this thing beat. Now, Americans have been laid off, and the unemployment rate is predicted to go up to 30% in the second quarter of 2020. And the experts are predicting that $2.5 trillion in lost income. That's a lot of money from unemployment, brothers and sisters. $2.5 trillion in lost income. Now, up to April of this year, 22 million Americans are unemployed. It's probably the highest unemployment rate since the Depression of the 1930s. And the Labor Department statistics show that only 71% of people who apply for unemployment are getting unemployment payments because they're overwhelmed, brothers and sisters. This pandemic has overloaded the computer systems where people are going online to apply for unemployment. They weren't ready for this. So only 71% of the people, as of now, have received unemployment payments. And many laid off Americans are depleting their savings, brothers and sisters, while they're waiting for unemployment. They've got to live off of something. So I don't mean to paint a bleak, dark picture, brothers and sisters, but it's a lot of things going on out there that tells us that we need to wake up and start working together so that we don't have to fall victim to a lot of things that are going on out there in the world and in this country. Now, black people as a whole, brothers and sisters, we haven't progressed at all in the last 150 years. When you look at our ability to borrow money for businesses and homes, as opposed to the immigrants who've been in this country for only a few years, and we were born here. So we haven't progressed much at all. People can come here and get loans for money and houses, and we can't. And all we have to do is work together, and we can solve many of these crises and unfair conditions that we've been forced to live in. We can solve it just by working together, and I can't stress that enough. And 38% of black people in America, brothers and sisters, are living under the poverty level. And you all have heard me talk about us being the 12th largest economy in the whole world. But we've got 38% of our people in this country living under the poverty level. It's because we have the money, brothers and sisters, but we don't know what to do with it. We've got to wake up and start spending our money intentionally. We've got to learn to circulate our money among each other like other races do. Because 98% of other races in America have their own communities, brothers and sisters, spending money with their own people. We can't say that about us. So, and an example is Chinatown with Chinese businesses. You've got Koreatown with Korean businesses, Germantown with German businesses, Dutch communities, Italian communities, Polish communities, Jewish communities, Russian communities, Irish communities, and all these are immigrants who's come here in the last several years, brothers and sisters, or the last few decades rather, and they are working together. They have their own communities, and they are circulating their money to keep their money in their communities, to build wealth in their communities. And as of yet, we don't have a lot of that, brothers and sisters. We don't have our communities with our own businesses. We have neighborhoods, and you all have heard me say that. We have neighborhoods, and these non-black people open up their businesses in our neighborhoods to sell goods to us. That's why we're in the condition that we're in, because we don't have anywhere to spend our money except with other people. See, because your own community is where you store your values, brothers and sisters, your wealth, your history, your culture. This is where your tax base is located. Your tax base, your businesses, your employment opportunities, brothers and sisters. And we don't have any of these things because we don't have our own communities. And only 2% of American blacks work in their own communities where black people have businesses. 2%. And we're like 44 million people in this country. And 2% of us have our own communities with businesses, circulate money between ourselves. That's why 38% of blacks in America are living under the poverty level. Now you see why. But wealth is the key to survival, is what I'm trying to get you all to understand, brothers and sisters. If we're going to survive, we have to find a way to control some of our wealth. It's not that we don't have it. Like I said, we're the 12th richest nation, if that's what you want to call us. And I'm talking about black America within a nation. We're the 12th largest nation within America, with more spending power than anybody else in the world. There are only 11 countries in this world that have more spending power than black America. But we give it to other people, brothers and sisters. And that wealth that we're giving away is the key to our survival. And every other race of people in the world is what you have to understand. They live off of two incomes. They live off of the money from 100% from circulating the money in their communities with each other. And then they live off of 98% of our money because we don't have any businesses primarily to spend our money in. We have to give it to other people. And it's all about business, brothers and sisters. This is where your wealth is generated, through business. And I can't stress that enough. This is why the Durham Corporation wants to set you up in your own business. You'll be working for my company, but you'll be in your own business, is what I'm saying. Buying from and selling to each other. So, consequently, brothers and sisters, while every other race lives off a double income, blacks live off of 2%. And we'll never survive in the future at that rate, because we're spending our money in businesses that don't belong to us. So think about it. Think about it. We're spending our money in businesses that don't belong to us, so we're giving away 98% of our wealth, and we're left with 2%. And then another thing you have to think about is the poor black people in America won't get much financial help from rich black people either, because the people that made them rich, brothers and sisters, won't allow them to align themselves with poor black people. Not in this country, because they've been pimping and hustling us, leaving us with only 2% of our wealth. And if black people were to receive help or were treated fairly, that would disrupt their profits, brothers and sisters. Because remember, we spend about 98% of our money outside of our communities with other races of people. This is how they're pimping and hustling us. So our livelihood has systematically been taken away from us, brothers and sisters, is what I'm saying, by taking away our ability and our desire to buy from and sell to each other. If you notice, most of our people don't have a desire to sell anything. All you have to do is talk to them, and many of you all have. You know what they're saying. They give you all kinds of excuses not to sell anything. They want to be consumers, but they can't do that forever. Because money has got to come from somewhere, and now the jobs are closing down. Many jobs are closing down, brothers and sisters. So now they've got to be resourceful. They've got to come into something like what we're doing here. We've created jobs for people. So a perfect example, like I said, is when you try to share the idea of working together in unity with other black people who are spiritually asleep or too brainwashed to see what's going on around them, brothers and sisters. And that's the problem that many of you all are running into. You're talking to spiritually asleep people who've been brainwashed. And I'm talking about from slavery time. That's still in a lot of people's mindset. That slavery mentality, brothers and sisters. But you've got to distance yourself from those people and talk to other people. Everybody's not spiritually asleep. Some of our people are awake. They just need the opportunity and haven't heard it yet. But it's up to you all to send them to the video. It's up to you all to speak to them. Tell them what we're doing. Make it available for them. Everybody's not spiritually asleep. And this is why the idea of recreating Black Wall Street is so important for us right now, brothers and sisters. Because those of us who aren't still brainwashed by this curse, and I call it a curse because it's been going on for the last 400 years. So those of us who haven't been, who aren't still brainwashed by this curse, have to make Black Wall Street work. We don't have a choice, brothers and sisters, because what we used to rely on in the past, well, that well is drying up. It's drying up. If the large chain stores and conglomerates can close their doors, we don't have a chance working jobs. That well is drying up, brothers and sisters, so we've got to make recreating Black Wall Street work. So we can preserve our future, for one thing, by reaching back for those who are still spiritually asleep. They'll come in, we'll get them all. When they see that they don't have any alternative, we'll just got to start somewhere, brothers and sisters. You all just happen to be the people who are pushing this ship to get it sailing. And that's where the work is to be done. And you all are the ones who will enjoy the fruits of the labor first. But somebody's got to do it. We've got to get spiritually awakened people to get this work done. And then we'll pick the rest of them up on the way. So the Durham Corporation wants to set everybody up in your own small startup business, brothers and sisters. Just like, distributing my hair care products, just like the Arabs and the Asians do. They distribute black hair care products. We're selling black hair care products. This company manufactures black hair care products. So the Asians and the Arabs don't have any trouble, if you notice, selling black hair care products to our people. And we shouldn't either. Unless they're so brainwashed that they don't feel right buying anything from you. They only want to buy it from people that don't look like you. Well, that's the part of the curse that I was talking about. So find the right people who are not under that curse, who are not brainwashed or spiritually asleep. That's your job. Find the right people, brothers and sisters, and we can get this thing moving. All you have to do is buy one bottle for $30 and sell 2 bottles for $30 each to your same 2 customers over and over to receive anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a month. Or you can distribute our All Natural Cures newsletter between the same 3 to 5 customers over and over for $2 each to receive $2,000 monthly. And all from the comfort of your own home, brothers and sisters. So you see how God has positioned us, even with the social distancing and the shut-ins and everything else they have going on out there. You don't have to go anywhere. You can get on the phone and call friends and relatives. They're going to have a need because their comfort zone has been taken from them. They're going to have a need. And we need to be in place so we can fulfill those needs for them. And that's with employment. We have newsletters that provide over 81 natural cures, brothers and sisters, written by some of the world's leading natural health experts. These are things that we sell that everybody in the world can use. It transcends race even. I don't care what race you are, you can still work for this company. But charity begins at home, so you're reaching out to friends and relatives first. And you're going to run out of them. And other people are going to come in. They're going to see what we're doing. Whites, Hispanics, Asians, Arabs, everybody. It doesn't matter. Like I said, we can put everybody in this country to work. Everybody who needs a job. I know all the employment is not going to shut down, but a great deal of it is, and we can put those people to work. That's all I'm saying. Because this is the same concept, if you look at it, that Mary Kay and Amway used to be successful. We're going to use that same concept, but with a lot less work, brothers and sisters. You don't have to sell to thousands of people to make some money. You don't have to. With the hair care products, you only need 2 people, and you're going to sell to those same 2 people over and over. With the newsletter, you're going to sell to 3 people or 5 people, and you're going to sell to those same 3 or 5 people over and over. And you're going to still receive your money. So I want to teach you to circulate our money, which is the price of any of our products, be it the hair care products or the newsletter. Between us, will create black wealth, brothers and sisters. But I can only show you the way to financial freedom. I can't make you accept it. I can only show you. Now the Hispanics, well, they circulate their money 6 to 8 times before it leaves their community. See the unity that the Hispanics even have. And they're treated very much the same way as black people in the country. But they have unity, brothers and sisters, and this is why they will surpass us. Even though we've been here a lot longer than many of them who are just coming here, but they have unity. Whites circulate their money 8 to 12 times, brothers and sisters. Asians and Arabs circulate their money 13 to 14 times before it leaves their community. It circulates through their hands, their friends, their relatives, and their businesses. Jewish people circulate their money in their communities 18 times before they allow it to leave. And the lifespan of the black dollar is about 6 hours, brothers and sisters. And that's primarily because in most of our neighborhoods, we don't have black businesses to spend the money in. This is why it's so vitally important that I set you up in your own black business. With the hair care products or with the newsletter or with both. It's about business, brothers and sisters. You've got to buy and you've got to sell. You can't just buy. You've got to sell something. That's where the wealth comes from. And like I said before, if you notice when the foreigners come into your neighborhoods and open up stores, they come in with one agenda, brothers and sisters, to sell. They don't come to buy. They leave that to you. They come to sell to you. You better not go in there and try and sell them anything. They'll straighten you out in a minute. Because I've done that. I've had products that I sent people in to sell to them. It was cleaning products at one point. They'll buy the hair care products wholesale and sell them. But as far as something that they can use like a cleaning product to clean their stores, they're not going to buy that from you because they can't resell it. They'll buy the hair care products from me because they can resell it to you. If there's no profit in it for them, they're not going to buy it, is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. So consequently, our dollar, the lifespan of our dollar is about 6 hours after we get paid, and then we go and spend it somewhere else in somebody else's business. So 1 out of every 20 Asians or Arabs has a business, brothers and sisters. 1 out of every 35 whites has a business. 1 out of every 53 Hispanics has a business. And only 1 out of every 105 blacks has a business. And business is the foundation of any race's wealth. It's about selling, brothers and sisters. That's the foundation of the wealth. And if I can make you understand through this system of recreating Black Wall Street, brothers and sisters, the power that we have from buying from and selling to each other, then our dollars will continue to circulate in our communities at least 8 to 12 times. Instead of 6 hours, a 6-hour lifespan, just getting in this system that I put together will allow us to circulate our dollars at least 6 to 8 times, brothers and sisters. Well, 8 to 12 times, rather. See, this will in turn strengthen our position in America. And you all have heard me say that as far as racism, discrimination, and police brutality is concerned. Nobody cares about poor people, brothers and sisters. That's why we've been exposed to racism, discrimination, and police brutality. Because so many of us are poor. We're living off of 2% of our wealth. That's poor, brothers and sisters. Nobody cares about poor people. You have to have a voice. And wealth is what will give you the voice. See, but it's up to you to say that you've had enough, brothers and sisters. A lot of our people haven't had enough yet. They complain. You'll hear them complaining all day long about what's going on with them. Mostly about police brutality and discrimination. You'll hear that all day long. Our people are complainers. But we have the opportunity to do something about it. A lot better than black people in other countries, like Africa and the Caribbean. They don't have the economic strength to do anything about it like we do. We as black Americans with $1.2 trillion in spending power collectively, brothers and sisters, are the only black people in the world that has the economic strength to change our conditions from poor to rich. Think about that. $1.2 trillion in spending power. The richest African countries don't generate $1 trillion, brothers and sisters. They generate billions of dollars, but not trillions. The richest Arab countries don't generate trillions of dollars. They generate billions. Even the oil-producing countries. They're in the billions, brothers and sisters. Black Americans are in the trillions. That makes us the 12th largest economy in the world. So, black Americans, with all the spending power that we have, brothers and sisters, we buy 43% of the cell phones in America, 23% of the televisions, 21% of the radios, 18% of the internet, and we buy more designer purses and clothes than any other race. But we buy these products from people other than black people. We'll always find a way to spend our money with other people. This is what we've done traditionally all down through the years. So consequently, this is why many of our people are living under the poverty level in America with all this wealth that we have collected. So black people in America, like I said, has the 12th largest economy in the world and the only, I stress that, the only of the 11 countries that have more spending power than us are Russia, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Italy, France, the United Kingdom, which is England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, Germany, Japan, China, and the rest of the United States, brothers and sisters. But when you separate black Americans from the United States, we are the 12th largest economy in the world. Except for those countries that I just named, we have more spending power than any other country that you can name. That's almost scary. for us to be this powerful, yet so weak. So now that we know how much money we have access to as opposed to all the other countries in the world, brothers and sisters, what are we going to do with this knowledge? Are we going to use it to control our own destiny, or are we going to continue to live in poverty because we don't have any unity, because we don't have any direction or intention for how we spend our money? So what I'm saying is that it's time to wake up and start controlling our spending power by buying from and selling to each other and putting our money and votes behind the candidates who will speak up for us in Washington. Nobody's going to speak up for poor people, brothers and sisters. They haven't. You think these politicians don't see what's going on in our neighborhood? You think they don't know what's going on out there with the police brutality and the discrimination? A squeaky wheel gets the oil. But you can't be poor making noise. You can't be a squeaky wheel being poor. You have to combine that money together with some direction, with some purpose, and then sound the horn. Make your noise then. Let these politicians know that if you want our votes, our 44 million votes here in America, what are you going to do for us? Let them know they need to do something for us. Police brutality and discrimination can almost disappear overnight. But it's up to us to wake up spiritually. Wake up and do something collectively. Work together like other races of people do. Why are we the only ones in the world that don't work together? We've got more money than all the rest of them. Why don't we work together like they do? Can you imagine if we work together the way they do with the little money that they have? With all this money that we have, the 12th largest economy in the world, if we work together, what we could accomplish? We have problems that we don't need to have, brothers and sisters, is what I'm saying. The things that we complain about, those are problems we don't need to have. And I know the other races have to be laughing. They got to be, because they've all been made wealthy from us. Why do you think they move into our neighborhoods? They know they can move there, and big as our economy is, they can become wealthy. But they take the money to their neighborhoods and enjoy our wealth. So, consequently, brothers and sisters, I'm asking you again to join me in my efforts to recreate the prosperous economy that we once had as a race of proud black people. And that's accomplished, once again, the Black Wall Street scenario is accomplished by us buying from and selling to each other. And we can't get around that because that's called business. We need business, brothers and sisters, a business mentality, not a consumer mentality. So you'll be working for the dorm